Okay, let's look at some pipes and the pipe flashing that keeps those things from leaking. This is a pipe that's vents out the carbon monoxide, dioxide area, the bad stuff that's inside your house from your heater. It's got to go outside. Unfortunately, when you see a pipe like this up on the roof that's got rusted out through the top, that's bad. That is going to cause some major problems inside the home. Literally, somebody could die in the right circumstances or wrong circumstances. So that with the holes in the pipe like this, you're going to get water through the top. So water's going to go all the way through that pipe and it's going to land on the furnace or the water heater that's down below. And it's not going to let the air flow properly either. That wants to pull the air out, and with a hole in the top of it like that, it's going to mess it all up. So if you see something like this, that needs to be a very bright red flag. Let the customer know. We need to get an HVAC company out there and look at the rest of the piping that goes down to whatever it's going to, and make sure that there's no other holes and get that replaced. That is a very big deal, and I can't stress it enough that someone could get hurt by doing that. This one here is a kind of a funny picture, but what's wrong with the pipe flashing? You say, I don't know. Well, there's a cap. The top of it has the cap that lets the air out, and then down below that there's another round cap that you can see, and then below that about a foot there's the flashing that goes down to the roof. So this is a case where they're downstairs working maybe on the water heater or the heater, and they push that pipe up from underneath and they didn't put it back down. So now you can get water that's going to get down that pipe and leak down inside that flashing. So just a small maintenance item, but if that's not caught and it were to leak, you're going to have water inside the home, and nobody wants to have water inside the home. This is that flashing, and it always has to have caulking around the top of it. It's metal to metal. It's not going to be a great seal. It's just trying to keep water to divert off of that small gap right there. This is another flue pipe, or not a flue, but the exhaust pipe for the ventilation inside, and you can see it's all rusty on the outside. These are double wall pipes, and they're made that way for whatever reason, but once you break into one of those walls of the pipe, that's a problem. It's not designed that way. So this is another big hazard. If you see something like this up on the roof, wave your hand, get the customer's attention, and let's get that fixed properly. Another big problem that we find, not as deadly as carbon monoxide, is when you try to nail down an old flashing like this. Once you pull it up to get the old shingles out, you can never push it down past the point of where the flat surface is at. You have to take the flashing up, either throw it away or bend it back down straight and then put it back in place. Most people do this. They pick it up and they push it down and then put a nail in it. Well, now that metal has tension on it all the time. And at some point, it's going to pull that nail through. And that's what's happened in this picture here. Some pipes are just exhaust for the bathroom, the commode, sinks in the bathroom or the kitchen, and they have more of a rubber boot around it just to keep it sealed. And those boots last probably 10 years or so. And then they're going to need to be either resealed or replaced completely. So this is what happens when the pipe boot comes deteriorated and it just falls apart. So that needs to either have another small sleeve put on top of it or the whole boot replaced with a new one. Now this is one that's really old. You can see by looking at it, it's kind of shrinking up and it's got cracks all in it. Those are things we have to look at, and not just the flashing itself, but the pipe. So this is a cast iron pipe. That means it's old. It's probably a 4-inch pipe, which is just a different size than typical pipes nowadays. So you can't send a 3-inch pipe boot out there for this. You have to measure it and make sure you get the right pipe boot for the service guys. Or if you're a service guy, you got to get the right pipe boot. This is how a pipe boot should be installed. It's nice and tight around the pipe. The black rubber is nice and looks flexible. It's not deteriorated, and it's got 2 nails in it. I don't really agree with the nails, but it does have 2 nails in it to hold that flange down. So pipes are pretty easy. There's not too much with them, but they can be very deadly if they're not taken care of or they're not emitting the gases that they need to emit. Next thing we're going to talk about are valleys, and we'll see you back in just a few minutes.